welcome back to Studio 4. We have our friend Skylar Gallup from the Hey Amarillo podcast today, and we're going to be talking about a special guest that she had on the podcast, Dr. Benton Allen. I am so interested because he's a professor down at WT. Tell us more, Skylar.
Yes, he's a WT professor of engineering.
Ooh.
And so this was a really fun one for me. That is way, way, way out of my wheelhouse. And I would say after having conducted the interview, and I think that a listener would experience it as well, he does a really good job about making like engineering super accessible. So like I followed along the whole time. And
Yeah.
he kind of like kept his really big sciencey words to a minimum. But really what resulted was like a really clear understanding of course, kind of like what engineering is, but I think more interestingly, what WT is doing with its engineering department. And I found it really interesting that it's, they're teaching kids to be engineers, which you would assume and hope so, right? But while they're doing that, they're actually working to solve like hyper local problems or challenges, find solutions for them, like in our agricultural spaces and with water and things like that.
Yes.
And so I think that was like the big takeaway. He's got some really, I'm always jealous of WT professors because they get to do really cool stuff, like they get to go on trips and stuff. And he's got some of that. He just got back from Thailand.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have heard about that research project. They really want to get their students, even if they don't have to be graduate students out there to do research.
Totally.
They could be undergrads, and they'll take them to those trips, and they get to solve real world problems. Like you were talking about Thailand, and I bet he had a blast out there and also got to teach these kids some firsthand, learning.
Yeah, they were working on like rural farms in Thailand, and his are in fact undergraduates. He teaches. They call them baby buffaloes, which is super sweet. Yeah, he took a bunch of young kids, widely from the Panhandle, like just to kind of continue to underpin the benefit that WT continues, of course, to provide our region. But yeah, go to Thailand and work on some rural farms and find surprising similarities he talked about. And, it's really neat.
Just a smart man.
Yeah, he's very smart. We talk about like his experience coming up through WT, which is the perfect experience that we want kids to be having from WTs. He's a Panhandle boy, stayed here, and had a unique opportunity that I think he talks about wouldn't have been afforded to him at some of the larger universities to just hop right in to some really kind of like cutting edge research. And that just that lit the spark for him, and he continues to do engineering research in the Panhandle and teach other kids to do it too. So it's a great story, very interesting, and again, like super, you could follow it, which I appreciated. Yes,
that's amazing. He seems like such a cool guy. And did he mention anything about the student-led organization WT Racing by chance?
So I don't know that he called it. Could totally be. We do talk about one of the cool things that he's getting to do with his students is develop and race a Formula One car.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's
yes.
that. And they're, I think, I can't remember. I think for some reason I actually think the racing occurs in Detroit against a bunch of other universities, and so they have like a race car. And that was cool. And I think that was an example of kind of taking it out of like the nebular sciencey engineering space and then we build and implement something. And I don't think that I knew before that like that's what they're doing in the College of Engineering, is not just like this like really scientific design stuff, but then like implementation and manufacturing.
Right.
It was cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. I'm so interested to, I'm like very excited to, watch this episode and hear all about it. So where can our viewers go to find more information? Anywhere you get your podcasts. We're on all of the platforms. I find it really handy to just follow a show, and then it pre-populates in your little listening list every week. You can also find us on Facebook, and that's a way to kind of like keep an eye out, like maybe every week's episode is not your jam, but if you follow our Facebook page, you can kind of see when I post them and go like, oh, that seems like it'd be fun. That is so cool. Well, Skylar, thank you for coming in today. Always happy to. Thank you. And stay with us. We have more Studio 4 on the way.